Adam, are you aware of the Golden Triangle?
Is that the drug export ring in East Asia? Because yes, I am.
No, I don't mean my taint either. I mean...
That was my second guess.
In my work at IGN, I learned that the Bungie team talks a lot about the Golden Triangle of how they design. And I think it really comes... I mean, of course it comes through, or Halo wouldn't be the juggernaut it is. But great. I was just wondering how... I was like, because I didn't learn about that till I worked at IGN. But I've like, do gamers all know about the... So we'll talk about that.
We should define it.
Cool.
It's Michael Swaim's taint.
Yeah,
sorry, I came in a little late. You guys talking Golden Triangle?
You're so late that you're being introduced to the show.
I don't know. I thought exploding in just now. I liked it.
When I mention my taint, Seanbaby comes running. It's Seanbaby, everyone.
Hey, he's right. It's happened 7 times already this morning.
Unpacking in reverse.
What am I doing
order.
in this strange bed? I know where I am.
That's Adam Ganser, and I'm Michael Swaim, and this is 1Upsmanship.
Yep.
Welcome, shipheads.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
There, I think that's that in reverse order.
What is the Golden Triangle for the purposes of this conversation?
Oh, don't save it for Game On. Sure.
Yeah.
I believe it's it's like that feeling of taking cover to recover your shields. I'm out of ammo, so or it's advantageous, so I'm gonna blast these guys with grenades. Or okay, it's time to come out of cover and fire. Or maybe the sword is the third. I'll look it up while you're doing your spiel. But
you give the ball to Scotty. He throws it to Jordan. He distracts the entire defense. Kick it back to Craig Hodges for the 3-pointer. Phil Jackson's Golden Triangle.
It's you go
Horace
to the
Grant
butthole.
looks useful.
Then you move past the butthole.
Yeah.
No, but it's I think the real takeaway emotionally that I felt and meditated on with appreciation this time was it's the feeling that there are different design strategies for FPS, of course, but theirs is that you're constantly, but at a nice pace, interweaving what is demanded of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the initial way man sat down and designed an FPS was, how can I simulate the goal of shooting something, right, accurately? Now we're moving past that into how can we interweave several tasks, and it's 3, I forget which 3, I'll look it up, so that you're constantly going, uh-oh, it's time to do that. Oh, I better do that. Oh, I better do that. And that does give it a very, very unique rhythmic feeling that is addictive and awesome.
Destiny 2, what is that, like a golden dodecahedron?
Quadrangle. Yeah.
Right, it feels like they added to, because,
maybe too much.
Pentagon.
It's too much
maybe
now.
too much.
Have you played it recently, Seanbaby?
This will be fun to get into.
Yeah, when I first started playing Destiny, I was pretty into it. And then I took a long break, and I have a good buddy, Zach Kuntz. You might know from the Oral Knots or our podcast many times. And he is way above the rim in Destiny. He'd been playing the whole time. And so I come in and I'm like, you sort of see how high the skill cap is in a game like that, which is much higher than Halo, where like there's all these cooldowns to juggle. And like, of course, your gear, there's a lot of prep that goes into things before you get there. But like, there's just like a language of that game that like, oh, I don't speak this. Like,
yes,
you like know when whatever thread is going, and then you count that down to trigger this next thing. And so this procs, I'm like, yeah, I'm a year away from having that as muscle memory for sure. And so
it'd
be nice to go back to the Golden Triangle era where I'm just worried about shields and ammo.
Well, that's what we did because we're covering Halo 2 today.
That's right.
3 very young men covering it. Ready to talk about its cultural relevance. Shall we pass our first checkpoint, Mike?
Sure.
And get into Tell Me Like I May Bit, the segment where we summarize for the audience who may or may not know, what is Halo 2? We usually ask our guests to do it. Sean, you want to take a stab at summarizing what Halo 2 is?
Sure.
If someone had never heard of it. It's a weird episode to do it for, but take a crack anyway.
It was the very rushed, very successful, huge follow-up to probably the biggest FPS known to man at that time. Halo was like the system seller for Xbox. As a first-person shooter, you're a space marine on a big old ring of something in space with real...
The butthole.
Yeah, with real plotting level design. So a lot of levels where you're just jogging for 40 minutes. And then Halo 2, they added an element where there is like an alien buddy that you you sometimes played from his perspective, and they're kind of doing an enemy mine. Like I think they started as the Arbiter. Well, I heard Lou Gossett Jr. Amazing. I'm summoned like it was Michael Swaim's taint. So it's hugely successful. People were waiting around all night to buy the game on launch day. I remember that. And I think people kind of were disappointed because the game, it seemed a little rushed. And I remember not enjoying the alien stuff. I was like, they had this cool silent Master Chief guy, and now I'm this dickhead with a laser sword that runs out of 2 stabs.
Yeah. Initially, there were mixed reviews about Halo 2. That's true. The only thing that's worth adding that we'll probably talk about is this is the first time there was online multiplayer for a console.
Right.
That's what Halo 2 introduced to the game pantheon.
That was huge.
Okay. Yeah, huge. Absolutely. Okay, let's pass our next checkpoint and get into the rants. Who wants to go first? Mike, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
Okay, great.
Because I have a pretty developed rant.
Oh, good.
Which is Player One plugging and ranting at you. I forget even what game it was. Maybe Neon White? It was probably Neon White, because Neon White was such an innovative twist on what an FPS setup can be when I was opining about how I'm bored of it. But it might have also been during Doom Dark Ages, because that's a recent FPS that was emblematic of, I'm pretty bored of this. And if you listen to that episode, I didn't think they made a terrible game. I just was like, I'm pretty bored of FPS. I feel as I sit here playing through Doom Dark Ages. Well, I'm excited to announce to people and shipheads invested in the narrative arc of what goes on inside my mind, the mind of a man they'll never meet. I'm back, baby. I loved it, man. I loved Halo 2, or at least this playthrough of Halo 2. And I've historically had some issues with Halo, but I rediscovered my joy of FPS, I think in part because of some games I played in between, intentionally trying to do that work. And here's the key to living that people don't sometimes know when they're young, if anyone young is indeed still listening. You got to practice gratitude, or practice like enjoying things, enjoyment, the ability to appreciate things. So I was like, I wanna investigate FPSs that are innovative after that chat, whenever it was. And I will just cut to the chase and say I found 2 that really reignited my joy. One's called Blood West. I highly recommend the DLC Dead Man's Promise. And then one is called Fallen Aces, which is like a cartoon noir FPS. And they're both super unorthodox, and that's sort of what I was looking for. Oh, people also mentioned Slayer's X, which started me on the journey down the road to finding those 2. And Slayer's X is fun and irreverent, but I would say the 2 I just name-checked are more interesting mechanically by far. And point is, it primed me to be like, no, it's fun to shoot aliens in the brain. It is. I just like, you know what I mean? Like, it shook the rust off of my heart. And so then I sat down to play Halo 2 just because it was time to for work. And I found myself being like, truly an appreciation of, because I also have logged hundreds of hours in Destiny 2. It has been years since I've played. I do watch what people are doing now and go, well, I don't even know what that word is, so I guess I'm out now. But obviously, if you can make an engine that has entertained me for hundreds and hundreds of hours, I think it's good. Even if I get, like, sometimes I feel like as gamers, we can lose sight of, I'm bored of this. I guess that means it was bad. Motherfucker, it was a product that entertained you for 800 hours. Like, that's good enough. That was a good spend of $70 or whatever. So I just sat in awe and appreciation, as I'm sure they want me to, of things like, well, they really did pave the way for an FPS that's different than Call of Duty. It's different than Gears of War. It's different. That's third person, but you know what I mean. It's different than Doom. Like, it has a unique feel. That was what I was sort of referencing. That is this, he's heavy. It's not, Doom is run fast. You're worried about, your basic thing in your head is scramble for ammo and life. In Halo, it's honestly reminds me of a little bit of the way I feel when I play Sonic the Hedgehog. It's, I lost my shield. I better get my shield. I feel safe. I lost my rings. I got to get a ring. Oh, I have a ring. Oh, I feel safe. And that is a great loop. It makes you repeatedly feel in danger, safe, in danger, safe. And then you're constantly debating, do I give up my grenade hand to double wield for a second because it's so cool, even though it's not as useful as grenade and gun? Or do I have my grenade? So they sat down with just a basic strategy that I think no other FPS had at the time, and it's propelled them all the way to Destiny 2. It's what makes Bungie shooters feel unique. And it did reignite my awareness of like, yeah, jazz doesn't all sound the same. FPSs aren't all the same. Like this one, for example, and I'll end my rant there, feels very unique. And I would argue that it feels sort of like almost a well-staged choreographed musical is what's unique about Bungie shooters, meaning they did not do it Dungeons & Dragons style where you say, okay, the player enters this room. Computer spawn this many enemies of this type in this room. Engage the AI, fight. What Bungie does is, well, we've developed this triangle of tasks they're juggling in their head. Let's strategically place airdrops and timed events that will cause their task set that they need to do. Like they are actually setting up like a musical in a way, staging a musical, a choreographed sequence of fighting for you to do. And if you open your eyes for that, you can even see moments where they're like, oh yeah, they want me to pick up the sword they placed here because this is a sword fight. Oh, this is a tank fight. Like, and they have that in mind. And I just think that really was a quantum leap forward in FPS design. They didn't just take a bunch of assets and make FPS. They reinvented, okay, let's sit down. What is an FPS? What's fun about an FPS? And they came up with their own unique soda flavor that no other, and it propels us to this day all the way through Destiny. Still feels like Halo. And it's a great formula. And as for 2 specifically, it's very conservative. They didn't break the formula. Everything I'm saying is true about Halo Combat Evolved, so that's where the real brilliance is, of course. But they were right if people don't know, at the end of the Halo Combat Evolved process, they always wanted Halo 1 was being designed toward the idea of internet multiplayer, and then the Xbox Live service itself was not ready for launch and got pushed back. So then when Halo was a hit anyway, they're like, well, Halo 2, quickly, as Sean referenced, they're like, it hit big. We got to get 2 out real fast. And if you play like with innovation in mind, they don't add much outside of the Arbiter's little invisibility. It's like they're going like, okay, well, don't fuck the formula. Let's just do another one and just add online multiplayer. And I'll be honest, from a money-making perspective, from a not breaking the Kentucky Fried Chicken formula perspective, they're right. Like I usually am the guy who goes, I wish they innovated more. No, this was right. We needed PvP online with this formula, and they shouldn't. It's good that they didn't do too many hats on a hat this early in the process. Because you log into D2 and well, it's been said. So that's my rant.
Okay, wonderful rant.
Yeah.
Sean, how do you feel about going next?
Oh, sure. I don't have any kind of a rant prepared, but
That's okay.
I do want to talk about how Halo felt, because I, of course, played a lot of FPS before Halo, and they added like that little aim assist. I don't know if you played Quake, you just sort of zipped around with your mouse. The thing went wherever your mouse went. But Halo sort of had your thing went red, and it slowed down when it got over a guy, and something about that just felt so satisfying. And it's still like no one really copied it very well. Like you can feel it in Destiny, you can feel it in some games, but like Remnant's a great example of a game that kind of feels just exactly right. But Halo, I think, is the inventor of like just making a shooter feel good, just really satisfying to shoot a guy. The other thing I talked about level design being a little plotting, but there was huge moments where you'd run into a fight in Halo and you're like, holy crap, like they don't know I'm here yet. And that's something that was at the time super special. That whether that was like tech limitations or whatever, but like coming into 2 sets of guys fighting and you being able to get the drop on them was an awesome moment every single time. I feel like that's enough. Once the PvP started, like that was kind of me and my friends' lives for months. And Halo 1, we did that a lot too. Like I had a group of friends where we could get an 8-man Halo together, and that was the best, but also a ton of work to be like, okay, guys, so the whole night is here. At one point, I told the story on my podcast when I acknowledged that I knew in the moment that I was living in the golden age when I had a girlfriend and she worked at the WB translator station. And so they had these theaters with 2 big screens. And so we're like, let's bring in 2 Xboxes, play 8-man Halo while they were filming the Portland Pro Wrestling in the studio. So at night when it was abandoned, we had a pro wrestling rig to play in and then a studio with 2 big screens with 8 players. And I'm like, okay, guys, this is it. Nothing will ever be better. And I was right. Sorry to my 2 beautiful daughters, but that was the best. But Halo 2, we never did that again. And maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe it should have been hard. Maybe it should have caused friend groups to innovate and go into a TV station at pro wrestling studio and play Halo. Maybe that's what Halo took from me. Halo 2 took from me. And I now that I think about it, I don't forgive it. That's my rant. Fuck Halo 2 for taking that from all of us.
I've always enjoyed when we have a guest on to talk about their early first-person shooter experiences, because that's where young men were just like, we will find a way to make this competition work. We will find it. Okay, Player 3 plugging in. I had a couple of thoughts as I was playing it. First is, I don't think this game holds up very well. And I was very surprised by that. I've played it, 15 times, but it had been about 10, 15 years since I'd played it. And I don't think the campaign's that good, actually. I think 3 is the best campaign, which kind of surprises me. You saying, Sean, that it was rushed, it feels rushed. Like, in the sense that, as Mike said, it's not innovating much on what it did the first time. I also think Halo maybe is best when it's kind of a diehard. And what I mean is that Master Chief is dropped alone into this like kind of a locked box, and he's got to fight his way out, and whatever that locked box is, he, overcomes tremendous odds. This time he's sort of evolved into this like Swiss Army knife super soldier that he is deployed into a bunch of situations. And for whatever reason, that's just not as fun emotionally, because it feels kind of more like Doom. And I like Doom,
Well, and it's an Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yes.
So we should mention it ramps to a cliffhanger. And
yes,
ends
it
on a
does.
cliffhanger.
Right, so it's not a complete story. One area they really did innovate on for Halo is they've dramatically expanded what the story is in Halo. Like, they defined what is the Covenant, what is their leadership like, what do they want, and they also gave the Flood a sentient mind that was behind it that, for better or worse, sort of defines the tone of Halo. I don't think when people think of what is Halo after they've played all these games, they probably think more about the story and tone of 2 than 1. But I do agree with Mike, who sort of implied 1 is where all the innovation is. I completely agree with that. This game has not a ton of new stuff. Double wielding, they changed the grenade so you didn't hurl it quite as far, and fun scenarios. They have a bunch of fun scenarios. There's just something to be said for PvP if it was the moment that you first got into it. Whatever game that is, there's just such a joyful thing about the first, year of playing online PvP in a first-person shooter. For me, it was Halo 2, and therefore I will always have a fond place of running around and killing people in the ridiculous uber male voice that like governed us all, and just all the pieces of that, right? Rocket launchers blowing 5 guys and getting a triple kill, stuff like
Love
that.
blowing 5 guys.
Yeah, it's who doesn't?
Golden Triangle.
So it's hard for me to be objective about how good is the PvP, but Halo was the standard for a long time until Call of Duty took it over. So, they had a good 5-year run or more where that was the standard. And I loved it for that. That's my rant.
Great. I got to shout out. Well, by the way, I seem like I'm always contrarian. I didn't mean to be contrarian. I thought Adam and I would agree.
I thought so too.
Because I thought Adam loved Halo.
I do love Halo.
I came in here being like, Adam's going to like that I liked the game.
I do like that.
And he didn't think it held up.
I don't.
But like every other Halo I've tried to tear down, and you've been like, don't tear it down. Anyway.
I know.
I just want to know, and please,
here.
Someone's got to sound off in the comments. If there's anyone like me, I just saw a post of someone saying like if you have actual legit social anxiety, the post was like, it's like exorcising a demon from your soul. Like I had it and then got over it as I entered my early 30s, and it legitimately, like, it's hard to describe if you haven't had legit social anxiety where, like, I used to be scared to talk to people at counters, like to do transactions, you know? Okay. Like, I was scared to talk to the guy at the gas station, or like, I feared any social interaction with any stranger. So I just want to know if other people out there who have ever struggled with severe social anxiety, did you always hate PvP? Because, man, PvP is nothing, not just nothing to me, but it took all my friends away and made them mean to me. Like, we used to all be sharing a goal when we met to play video games. Now we all are enemies when we meet to play video games. And to me, this was the beginning of a very dark era where all my male friends wanted to play aggressive who will win games now. And I don't like that. I don't want to win and I don't want to lose. I want everyone to collaborate on a shared goal against the evil alien computer. And it really, like, when I won, I'd feel really weird. When I lost, I'd feel deeply ashamed and emasculated. Like you said, the other thing was, I'd say, hey, let's all play video games today. And people would be like, fuck yes, dude. Let's move all the furniture in all the rooms and run all the cables so we can do 4-on-4 Halo. And I'd be like, no, guys, that just we all end up yelling at each other and we have to move all the furniture. And they're like, yeah, rules, let's do that. So no, it was a very dark year of, I liked playing, I'm soccer
exactly
or whatever.
the
now
same
we're
way.
All, yeah.
Where like in PvP, I hate to lose. Not crazy about winning, but all that changes when I'm with my friends. Like, I'd love to kill my friends.
Interesting.
And
when it was college and it was friends and weed and booze was involved, it was the most fun I've ever had because I was out of my head and out of the social anxiety. So I've inhabited both lifestyles and can understand the feeling of enjoying it. I'm just saying it's an interesting and also valid perspective I think people have of being like, I don't want to log in and have randos on the internet prove that they're better than me at Destiny 2. Like, I know that there are people out there better than me at Destiny.
I want to talk about that. Because I would say that experience is different than what Halo's experience was for me. But simply by culture, like the culture has shifted, which is important.
Because now, I mean, we're decades into now. PvP is a whole different right.
Elon
You'll
Musk
encounter guys who are like,
to do it. Yes.
Well, unfortunately, on D2, you'll counter guys who are like, "Come on, keep the fuck up! Oh, you don't know you're supposed to turn the widget when the thing hits 6, dude."
Yeah, you say that.
You fucked us, dude.
You say that, but they're actually like, "Dude, you don't know. You don't know if it's 6.
Sorry, guys.
8." And you're like,
I just bought this game and I'm trying to play a game.
No. PvP. Yeah. Anyway, you know what? Let's take a commercial.
Anyway,
we'll all cool it down a little bit.
We'll cool down.
Let's just get the rage and
I'll flip my opinion back to negative, and so we'll be aligned. We're back. I hate FPSs again. Adam likes them now, though.
Yeah, I do.
So we fucked the break. But this is still 1Upsmanship. And we are in the body of the podcast, which we pass a checkpoint to get to.
Sure do.
It's called Game On. It goes like this. So was dual wielding new? That was the other thing I forgot to look up.
It was the newest thing about this game.
Because the cover, very Borderlands style, is like in the first cover he had one gun. Yeah. In the second cover he has 2 guns. But other than that, it felt like all they were interested in was not breaking the formula while introducing PvP. But do you disagree, or can either of you speak to that was the right decision, right? Like I rarely bow to corporate decisions, but they would have been stupid to radically change it. Right? They were just trying to release
I think it
PvP.
took them
that was what this game was for.
It took them a very long time to play at all with this formula. Like I would say they haven't in any of the Halos until, like, I don't know, the one where they added all the special powers that you could switch out, which I think is Reach.
And I'd say the heart of the formula is still felt in Destiny.
Yes.
So, like, but I'm saying, that's what I'm asking is that wrong? Do you not think they found such a precious formula it should be protected? Like they discovered a Coca-Cola, if you will? Or
I'd agree to that.
I feel like they kind of did.
Sure.
I'm glad I'm glad this formula of FPS persists, I guess, in some form.
I mean, very clearly, it's the basis for a lot of other kinds of games that came, like cover shooters, kind of started with Halo, right? Like stuff like Gears of War, which, or any game based like that, where it's sort of like we duck
Call
behind.
of Duty, you take cover.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes.
Just to reload.
I mean, the last 3 Dooms are all real different from each other. Like that feels like a shooter where they're like, let's try something completely new.
Doom would try shit way more than Bungie will.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think
but I feel like also does anyone remember before Bungie did this and standardized how an FPS is? When you would play like Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and they'd be like, in our game, you press up C to move forward.
Yeah.
Like, I don't use the stick to move. Like, shit would be crazy out
move
here.
4 whole directions.
Yeah,
I think in the first, in Metal Gear Solid 3, the very first version of it, I think you held like 7 buttons to shoot your gun. If you wanted to aim and shoot, it was like
aim,
you'd have to use your tongue for a couple of the buttons.
Yeah. So I think it's like, actually, they nailed like, oh, this is what it feels like to shoot a gun with a controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone had to do that. That had to happen at some point.
Yeah.
It was them.
True. Yeah. This is probably the first console shooter that established what is that like. I know there were other shooters on consoles before, but this was the gold standard for that, right? Because Doom got ported not very well. But Turok Dinosaur Hunter was on the N64. I remember it, but it wasn't Halo. So that's fair. Yeah. So then why would you innovate, right? What's the reason to innovate? Like, what's the goal?
Speaking of, I got $8,000 for naming both my daughters Turok. Not a bad deal.
Wait, are they both Turok, or is there Turok 2, Turok Junior, Turok with the number 2?
It's really not that confusing. George Foreman named all his kids George. I was like, I could name a couple Turok George Foreman.
He is survived by 4
It's good enough for the great George Foreman. I have a story about Halo 2 that isn't a stupid made up Turok
George
gang.
Foreman survived by 4 men named George?
5, I think.
At least.
Okay, 5. At least 4. Okay, go ahead, please.
That he knows of. So I used to work at a magazine called Electronic Gaming Monthly. Very popular, fantastic magazine. And we had a crew of Halo 2 players. And Bungie would play journalists or game celebrities or whatever. And when they took us on, we rocked their shit so hard. It was one of those like massacres that like it shouldn't be possible. It was like 100 kills to 28 or something. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, they had to write a blog post of like, we don't know what this disaster was, but that was pretty good to play the guys who made the game that we loved and just leave a crater where their corpse once was.
No, that's an amazing experience to have had in your life.
You think they remember it?
Yeah.
You think they're cooking on that?
They feel bad about it still? Yeah.
I don't know. I did write a blog post making fun of them, and people were like, "That's really mean." Like
they made
like
the
people
game.
weren't like, "Hey, that
We
was
love
super
them.
funny." They're like, that blog post was fucking mean." I was like, "Oh, I was trying to be funny."
I wrote an editorial for our satire paper when Kurt Vonnegut, my favorite author, died. It was like fat bastard Kurt Vonnegut finally dead. Just like
Jesus.
a hit piece on him. But it's like, that's the joke, right? So obviously, if you know how satire works, you can read through that and see, I love this man. But people don't know how satire works. So I got people who are like, man, you really hate Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh, I took
what
it
do you
as
ever
an
do to
artistic
you?
failure.
Like,
I think I just blew it.
It's a comedy article, yeah.
I was probably just really hungover when I wrote it.
But I forgot you're at you just started EGM. That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have read before we ever like crossed paths. I probably read stuff you wrote because I read every EGM and every Game Pro.
Yeah,
got it. What's the fun factor? That's what I need to know. Is the guy's
Right.
hair sticking out?
I think that was Game Pro.
That was Game Pro. Yeah. Also, I just wanted to double down, and so we can stop mentioning it, but the reticule thing, I also noticed that this time. Seanbaby already mentioned it, but I believe this was, or if not, Combat Evolved was the first time the reticule gives you feedback information.
Yeah.
And this has evolved in Destiny 2 to the point where there's little dots around the reticule to know your ammo even. So it's like the realization that, where are your eyes? Not at the corners. when you're shooting, they're on the reticule. So like Halo's reticule will flash red when you made a hit. Do a little different like contraction when you're like, oh, that target is dead. Amazing. And it's such a subtle. I love talking about these little tiny things that you didn't realize are so necessary to the gaming experience that every smart developer will just copy it from now on. Mm-hmm. And I love identifying, well, actually, that team invented that. That's a pretty cool claim to fame or whatever.
Well, also, Halo was sort of smart in that they aliens 2'd the first-person shooter franchise. And what I mean by that is that, so Half-Life had a bunch of, like, NPCs you'd run into who would give you sort of, like, moments of tension relief or information. And Halo was like, no, we can make that stupider and more fun and constant by giving just a constant stream of military NPCs who die because you don't take care of them. Yeah, yeah. And it's very funny, and also it sort of breaks up the monotony of the game, I think. You know?
If you look at the lady's butt too long, she goes, "What's that? See something you like?"
Is that true?
Which I didn't. Yeah. There's that sequence where you're in the underwater elevator, zooming around, and you're just getting plot updates while they're reporting into you. I just randomly had my camera still, no controller in hand, looking at the lady, and eventually she goes, "What's up, Chief? See something you like?" I was like, "Oh, what an Easter egg! That's amazing!"
Because she's down for it.
Right. No, she doesn't. She sounds into it. Yeah. Who wouldn't fuck Master Chief?
I don't know. He's 8 feet tall. It might be like a Twilight thing, where
he doesn't get out of that armor. Yeah. The dick has those, the little mouth armor pieces on the Covenant? Yeah. He has those down the length of the dick.
He's got shaft guards.
I did, at IGN, I did a 35-minute breakdown of the entire Halo plot and mythos. Should we... I'm going to ask, what do you guys think of that? Or did you think the Arbiter Edition is... I want to know basically the two main impacts. How do you feel about the Arbiter Edition? Then how do you feel about the Flood has a queen that can talk and
the Grave Mind
itself? The Grave Mind, I think, is low-key the bigger offer in this game. You're like, oh, the Flood is a sentient... collective consciousness is, or at least that's just as huge as all the Covenant stuff and Forerunner stuff. So every time it happens, even this time I was like, that's right, the Flood has a guy, has a Locutus in this. That's weird.
So like to scale,
how'd they hate you?
To scale, there's much more story in this game than any first-person shooter before it, I would argue.
It basically turns it into Aliens lore. It copy and pastes a lot of Aliens lore.
But with some really expansive, like, religious cult stuff that ends up being... I don't know. I mean, I think it's, like, somewhat unique to video
Prometheus
games.
Lore.
Yeah. Well, right. Exactly.
But that's what I mean, the expanded... It ends up having a feel that is... It could be parallel evolution, but... I feel like it and Aliens extended lore end up making me feel the same way.
They're intertwined.
Oh, okay. Millions and billions of years ago, there was a dead ancient race that we can't even, that's inscrutable to us. They did this. Now it got all fucked up. It's the, the Flood is the xenomorph.
That's sort of the risk, I think, of continuing a franchise like this, right? Is that like, so Halo 1 planted some seeds about what is the Covenant, what is their interest. Halo 2 is like, well, we got to develop that, right? And they do, right? They have this triumvirate lying race that is ruling the rest of these aliens.
It seems they're self-deluded. Yes. They also believe it. They believe their own bullshit, I think.
I think one of them explicitly knows, but I could be wrong about that.
You think the last guy, Truth, knows that he is just going to fry himself and die?
I think he says as much, but I could be wrong.
That's what he wants to do? That was what I didn't understand is my actual question about the plot, if either of you have a big takeaway on this. As a guy who, for work, researched the entire plot and did a video that spoke with authority, I still don't understand. Why does the sentient Flood demon, Gravemind, want to help our protagonist or stop the Great Journey or stop the Halos from firing in Halo 2? Is that just to preserve itself? So that it can continue to release flood and eat us? Like, are we just making a deal with the devil to continue living in hell? Because that's not a good ending, right?
Yes. I mean, yeah, because...
So doesn't that just mean... Yeah, okay. So at the end of Halo 2 is Master Chief basically agreeing, well, we can't kill the devil yet, so we'll just keep everything in motion.
Only the Covenant want to fire the rings because they believe
because the Flood want to live.
Right.
But I'm saying, but you would still have to face off against the Flood at some
I think
point.
Master Chief thinks, just drop me in there with the Flood, I'll do that, right?
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Well, tomorrow I'll do that.
Yeah,
okay.
Which, again, right. I mean, for a blockbuster, not the worst
it's good
plot.
enough.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I don't. I'm calling it a loose copy paste of Aliens and saying that that's not terrible. That's fine.
No,
that's a good thing to
do. There's a reason in stories, I think, that people end up giving sentience to the bad guy. Like the Flood was basically a virus in the first game. And I think it's hard to care about the virus after a while when it's just, kill it and move on. So there has to be reasons behind the Flood, but then the franchise got very scared about what that would imply and didn't explore it any further. So I don't know. I think that part doesn't work now.
An offer I really like that I don't think is very fleshed out in Alien or seems unique to Halo is, and they do it again in Destiny. I love the idea of what the Covenant is, where they're like, it's like the Star Trek Federation, but bad. So it's I've never seen an FPS, Alien FPS that did. Well, the reason there are enemy types is these are actually multiple enslaved races that are part of this union, this agreement, this covenant. And I love in Halo 2, there's even infighting, the main one being your sub-final boss, where you're like, oh, the big type enemy guys want to be the official Protect Royal Guard instead of the elite type guys. There's like infighting amongst the Covenant. So I did think it was cool how they fleshed all that stuff out. Did you find yourself, or if you can remember back when you played it as young folks, did you find yourself disappointed when you were plopped into the Arbiter role? Because I didn't really.
100%.
I thought he was just as you were like, I want to be Master
I think
Chief.
Because I don't pay attention to a lot of the stories, and so maybe it was just like I haven't done a lot of reflection on this, but it might have been like post 9/11 jingoistic, like rah rah America. But like I kind of thought of Master Chief as a space American, like with John Rambo loose cannon, and so I kind of went in there to like kill space Nazis, and here I am, half the levels playing some god nerd. I'm like, I don't like this. You know what I mean?
But isn't that something you could see Rambo doing in Rambo 7, befriending one enemy and then that guy gets fleshed out? It's totally like Adam's right that it's an inevitability of a long running. It's just something you eventually do.
There's something
I just feel like it was maybe too much of him. Like if he was a sidekick and he was like, he was nagging you while you're massacring his people. I'm like, okay, great.
He was just a straightforward
but
I am also
the
here.
No, he was a self-flagellating figure who was like trying to die.
I'm sorry.
No, but so the Master Chief is a blank slate. You can invest your emotions into him and make him into your version of your favorite soldier. The Arbiter's not a blank slate. Like he's got a story, exactly like Sean said, that you may or may not connect to, and like so they're taking that away from you when you're not playing as Master Chief. Like, and I think they knew that was a mistake because they didn't keep doing it.
Well, how'd you feel about the invisibility power versus the shield?
It's fine. No, you also have a shield as
But I mean they do the invisibility
would have been
thing
rad
to try
though.
and make it feel different at all. And I thought it was I found that weak sauce. I'm like, I can barely tell that I'm the Arbiter right now versus Master Chief. They're basically the same.
Yeah. If they would have given me like a Lady J Master Chief and her power was invisibility, now we're talking. The whole G.I. Joe squad of Master Chiefs. That's my pitch.
Well, they did that in Reach.
Shiprock Master Chief. Sure. You're right.
Oh, Reach. Yeah. Which is
it was okay.
Reach is a pretty fun game, actually. I like
People often say it's the best one, and I don't agree.
Well, I don't know.
But yeah,
I don't know why you have to. It's a different game loop, so I wouldn't.
Because Halo's about competing, Mike. That's fundamentally what military stuff is.
Well, as long as we're trying to prove who would be the best at actual fighting, I gotta say, I don't think uppercutting with a sword is the power move that the Halo series depicts it as. If you're holding a sword, I do not think the very effective move is to rush at someone and swoop it up. swoop up at them, that would
I think that would
really
kill the shit out of
fuck 'em up.
somebody. That's what makes us different.
Do you remember the third game where they gave that giant hammer, and finally you felt like, now I have the melee weapon of the ages? Like it just
the hammer was pretty.
It
sweet.
was great. You'd like thunder
Is
dudes
it
off
the Brute's hammer?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
It's one of the Brute's hammers.
That's what the third one did. Was they were like, okay, we're gonna commit to all these different races and build out their world. Which,
and then Destiny is that, right? Or is
Destiny is
now
just what if
to
we
me
did
the
it
fullest
better? In my opinion.
Well, I mean, and each race is its full own faction with a whole history and standout hero characters from that race and everything.
But so, and I think this is germane to the Halo 2 conversation. I think Destiny 2 has also proven that they're kind of afraid to iterate once they get something right. You know what I mean? Like Destiny 2, what was the last major enemy type they added that was like brand new? And it's like
that's when they made them all the shadow versions of the first set.
Taken, and that was like 8 years ago or whatever, right?
Yeah. I just think that's when they were like sort of demonstrating like, dude, we're not going to add anything. Like they must be doing something behind the scenes where they add an enemy and everyone just fucking hates it. And they're like, okay, we'll just go back to the same 3 dudes.
They add like 1 or 2 guys here and there, but they don't take big risks because they're afraid that they're going to destroy the formula. Like the company that took over Halo is so risk averse that people hate their games.
Yeah.
You know, like they get really fucking pissed off at them for like not adding
Grapple
enough.
Hook was fun.
Grapple Hook was awesome. Good idea.
But I guess this is one of the rare times where I'll come to their defense, not in that it's the best artistic path forward or whatever if you're trying to evolve, nor that my only goal in this argument is how could you maximize your profits. But I will say in some way it does feel like one of the keys to Halo is that they don't overcomplicate it vis-a-vis something like, so like a big conceptual design difference I noticed between Halo and Call of Duty early days that changes everything about it is, or Doom even better because it's older. Doom's like, we invented these 8 to 12 really cool concepts for weapons. You will want to collect them all, and once you collect them, you'll want to carry them all with you at all times and choose which one you use from a weapon wheel, because that's the power fantasy. You slowly have more and more and more and more. Halo and Call of Duty eventually embraced even more so, I think partially inspired probably by Halo. No. The fetishization of guns is in your character's mind. It's that he can pick up and use any weapon. Mm-hmm. But in the chaos of the battlefield, and for fun factor's sake, weapons are coming and going. Weapons are like water. They flow through you. You run out, you drop it, because everyone who dies drops a fresh weapon. And I do think that I'm not even going to say better or worse because Doom has it. I also like collecting an inventory of 8 specific tools to use in different situations. But it created a new kind of FPS loop that didn't exist before, of like situational awareness. Oh, this needler's almost out. All I have is the shitty green pistol I hate, but I can see that there's a sniper there. So I'm going to go sword that sniper guy with the sword on the rock, pick up his sniper gun, snipe that guy, come back and get the rocket launcher. Then I'll use that turret, hop in a Banshee. Like that thought process is so different from Doom. Oh no, I only have 1 armor. I better kill 5 imps and soak up. It's just different, and it makes for a different game, and it makes for a different kind of satisfaction, and it makes me want to play your game as well. And I think one of the keys of it is minimalism. I do think if they made it too busy, and they know this, it would change that like chunky dance-like feeling that their shooters have.
Yes.
Like if there were 15 weapon types, I think it would hurt a game like Halo.
It's because it adds...
It's good that there's 7.
It adds improvisation to the battle, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Like when you watch a great action movie now, like say a John Wick, the thing that makes John Wick awesome is how he improvs, right? Like this thing happens, oh, he used the gun and shot the guy through the jaw or whatever, right? Like that's part of the fantasy, is being capable of managing any crisis thrown at you by circumstance. And Halo achieves that in a way Doom didn't in the early days. Doom's tried to create that by like throwing so many enemies at you that you have to punch one to get health, and like having to sort of Rochambeau against enemy types. Like that's what they're trying to fix is the improv feeling.
Well, and these systems like bite parts off each other, so now they're all hybrids that overlap each other.
But Doom recognized that's a thing that Halo does really well, is sort of create this feeling of, holy shit, I got to grenade this guy and slide back behind this door and sniper that guy.
Oh, I'm out of grenades. I better do that instead.
And Doom didn't have that. It was just like, okay, I'll pick the less powerful weapon, and they fixed it. I think Doom Eternal, that's essentially what they're after, is creating that vibe.
Yeah. I actually wondered, did either of y'all ever use the little green pistol? Or I felt like that gun was there to be the booby prize gun. Like, that's the gun for you to have and go, oh no, I have to look for a better gun.
When you get...
the green charger, what I mean?
Yeah, you charge up the green gun, you switch to your battle rifle and headshot. Like, that's the most effective way to take out anybody with a shield. So if you're running into like those Covenant guys, you'd hit them with a charged up plasma pistol, and then thump. They're just instant kill those guys.
So you just use it as a shield remover.
Yep. Yeah.
Essentially, it's just there to be an elemental.
But it was very satisfying once you got that loop going.
Totally. I love the carbine, the Covenant carbine, which is a weapon they added in this game. It became the only gun I used after a while, just because I like
the Void Beam two-hander.
Yeah, there's just not enough ammo
just a
on
line.
It.
They're very sparing with it. Yeah,
but
and we haven't talked about something Doom didn't even try to have for a long time. Of course, Halo has the vehicles, and I know we are just throwing a lot of appreciation on the franchise as a whole. And I looked it up, and one did have Banshees, but I still felt the delight of, because it's been long enough that I forgot. In Halo 2, when you're ground base, the first time you get and it made me remember when it first happened as a kid, how blown my mind was. That was like, oh, I can get in the fucking alien ship and fly and hop out and keep shooting and then hop in a car and drive around. That was so cool. Like that was truly mind blowing at the time.
I would
and the AI of your driver companion is not shit, which is shocking for the time.
Yeah, if you let him drive, actually.
He actually can get you where you need to go, which I could not believe.
Which is fun. Or if you let him shoot, they're even better at that. This game was best at setting up good vehicle sequences. Like the tank sequence on the island or whatever, good. Incredible. The Banshee sequence where you're like chasing another Covenant who's like a rebel.
Dogfighting with the heretic.
It's really good. So they definitely developed the concept. Also, I think you could pilot the Covenant tank for the first time in this one.
Tank at one point,
which is pretty great.
And of course, the glory moves, which I think are almost precursors to the Doom 2016 glory kills, which is like, I don't remember who, but I know certainly there was a point where some friend went, you can jump on the tank and rip the panel open and throw a grenade. And I'm like, fucking how? Oh, you just hold the, action button as a tank comes at you.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Like, that's the coolest shit that they thought to add that pointless flourish of a move.
I also like...
that is not more efficient than just blowing the
totally
tank
stupid.
up. It's just cool.
But I also like that they can take it from you, too. You know what I mean? Like, you might get the bad dice roll where an elite take... You're like, you son of a bitch. It's so good,
Just knocks you out of your motorcycle.
Yeah. How did you feel about the campaign in terms of how it compares to other Halo campaigns? Did you guys like it better, worse?
Meaning the fun of the shooting?
I mean, like the sequence of levels.
Discussed the story. Yeah, I thought it was pretty weak, actually. I didn't realize how many levels are a giant horizontal platform slowly moves at a steady pace. 3 times this happens. Once there's a classic elevator level. Twice, Master Chief goes across a gondola to an island and then back across the gondola back to the mainland. Then the Arbiter does a horizontal journey on a gondola to Sky Island. And I was like, wow, if you strip away the geometry in the skybox, those 3 levels are the same encounter, which is weird. It's weird to have 3 set pieces that you couldn't think of a shape different than a box. Mm-hmm. It just feels like Seanbaby nailed it, or you mentioned level design by name at the top of the episode, and this was the first time I noticed, oh yeah, the map design is rushed in this, isn't it? Like the maps, even for the time, like I remember playing equivalent Quake games, had way more complex Or they had maps where you would go, I see the concept of this map. The map designer was playing with the idea of spirals or verticality. This was like, go in the room, kill all the guys. Go in the room, kill all the guys. Yeah.
So
I went through and I played it on Legendary like I did in Halo 1. I was like excited to go through and do the super hard stuff. And I do remember thinking several times like, oh, I hate this part, which is not ideal. But overall, I do remember liking the thing and having fun with that experience, but also struggling with some parts. Not because it was hard, just because I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. The third game is where I think they got mentally invested in the idea of like, we have to create catharses and they have to build into like better and better sequences. Because I would say that game's much better at that, at the campaign.
Oh, well, also the cliffhanger aspect, the fact that the final boss is just a brute and you kill him. I really had, just from my story structure instinct, was like, so that was the second to last boss. Now we'll kill some real bad guy. And then it's like, oh, no, right, it ends there. Yeah, the fleet's at Earth, and that's the end.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, weird.
Fine.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, and they had to know from step one, a cliffhanger ending's always going to feel a certain way, right? Like, it's not the ultimate catharsis. You're withholding
I think
the ultimate
they're like,
catharsis.
we're going to sell as many Halos as anyone could imagine. So who cares if it's finished or not?
Dude, there's a line in this where what's her name says, the main military lady, look, it's not original, but it worked last time. And I'm pretty sure that's a sneaky reference to the sequel itself.
That's funny.
Like he goes, what are we going to do? And she goes, we'll trigger the Autumn's warp engine and blow up the Halo. And it's like, that's the same plan we had in the first game. And she's like, yeah, it works. And that's the attitude of this game. For sure.
Way to capture the tone.
People like it. Yeah.
Why don't we take another quick commercial break and come back and wrap up our final thoughts on the game?
Talking about a cliffhanger. Did they ever make a cliffhanger game?
No, damn it. What a missed opportunity.
Man, it really
That seems impossible.
Like with an involved climbing system that's actually, I'm only semi-joking. I think you could make a good cliffhanger game. I would love a game where I get to murder John Lithgow at the end.
There's a game called Cliffhanger that was a laser disc video game from 1983.
Ooh.
So already it's sounding very
I own
Mike-ish.
some Laserdisc games, but I'm assuming it's not a licensed.
Was that an anime game? Are you looking at it right now?
Yes, and yes, it is.
I remember that.
That's incredible that you remember that. Oh, there's a platform game based on the film. So
For Sly's Cliffhanger? Hell
yes.
I knew they had to have one.
Okay.
Well, we'll be back next week with an episode on Cliffhanger for the Commodore 64.
For the Super Nintendo.
Wait, so let me ask the question I think everybody who cares about this game would want to hear us talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it matters historically that this game is the first to market with console online multiplayer? Like, does it deserve to be remembered because of that?
Because of that alone?
Well, does that put it in the history books as a great all-time game because of that innovation?
Meaning that if you were gonna plant a flag in the innovations of all the blah, blah, blah we just discussed, you would put that in the first one, right? So you're saying, does PvP alone
elevate this to being a significant game?
I'd say no, only because PvP seems like nuclear weaponry, or like, well, that's just a systemic innovation that everyone knew one day that will happen. Like, that was just the technology slowly
catching up,
evolving.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first ever. There were many PC games that did it better. Like, and I think Counter-Strike deserves to be talked about someday for that. What do you think, Sean?
We should. Counter-Strike was a fun time.
I don't see why not. Maybe it's just because it was the one I played the most that it just feels feels so important. Yeah. I think I used up my entire life's supply of PvP on that game. I just don't ever play it anymore. But I thought it was really well balanced. I remember thinking most of the maps were fun. It was hardly ever that someone would pick a map and be like, I don't like this one. But,
do you remember how you felt about the PvP maps? Were they a stronger grouping than the campaign maps?
Yeah, I liked pretty much all of them. They all felt really, really different. There were some big ones, some small ones, and
I don't have feelings like this anymore. But I remember at that time having strong feelings about like specific Call of Duty maps, like, oh, that map is a masterpiece.
Halo as a PvP enterprise also has encouraged a lot of innovation, like things like the zombie mode stuff that I want to say a fan made up, right? Like a fan modded or something like that.
We did at the time you would like look up game modes on the internet or in a forum or whatever, and then you'd sort of just kind of have to do honor system and do it.
Yes.
So like everyone take a sword. You're only allowed to do this. We put crates in front of the doors. And like we all just kind of had gentleman's agreement to play in a weird way, and
the one
it was
way,
fun.
The GoldenEye one was always, who the fuck put a proximity mine on the ammo container?
Perfect.
You don't. That's
move.
Dirty, you guys.
Great
we
move.
do not do that in this house. You don't put a proximity mine on the ammo container.
Huge ups for that guy.
Well, because if you'll recall, it would become invisible.
Of course.
Proximity mine would become
I
hidden
recall?
in the geometry of the ammo
I was
container.
pure villain when it came to.
I'm doing it now.
That's actually.
God.
So it doesn't
Fun
appeal
time.
to everybody, and I understand that. But like, I think the sort of villainous thinking that in these early PvP FPS games is pretty great. Like that kind of shit can't happen
I'm just
now
a weakling,
because we
though.
patched it out.
I would be to.
You know?
Well, I'm not. That's what I'm saying is to people out there, if you feel the way I felt, you can't evolve out of it. And I have now evolved out of it. But at the time, I'd be like, but why would you want to trick me? You're my friend. You know? Like it would actually hurt my feelings. Like I was
How do I
betrayed.
say this?
And
I get so much joy from it. So
and then
much.
other people would be like, because it's hilarious, bro. Because it's so delicious. I'd be like, Schadenfreude is not the connective tissue of our relationship.
It is now. It is now. No,
I mean, and to quote Halo 2, fate had us meet as foes, but this ring will make us brothers. And then I would show them my taint.
People are always saying that.
All right. Well, that was a triple kill if ever there was one. Shall we pass our final checkpoint?
Let's do it.
And keep or delete? What say you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Delete. Oh, interestingly, I think because of your comment you just made. I was gonna keep it until you made me understand that actually I'm keeping combat evolved, and PvP is all I'm really. If PvP is all I'm judging, then delete. I thought it was a keep coming into the conversation.
See, what you did is put a proximity mine on my ammo container by blaming me for that decision. Because it's your decision. You made it.
Oh, I didn't mean to, but
No,
I did do that.
Okay. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, it's absurd to delete Halo 2. What a silly question.
You called it rushed with bad level design.
And it turned out pretty good anyway.
Now I feel gaslit.
I
love this.
Well, the guest has less preciousness about the drive. The guest.
If I'm being honest, I felt like that was such a beloved game that I wanted to come in with at least some criticism. So we weren't just what a great game. I remember playing that terrific game. I'm just trying to say, here's what held it back from being, a perfect, wonderful game. Like if we said, hey, let's talk Metal Gear Solid 5, I'd say, oh, what a perfect, wonderful game. I guess goodbye. That was a great show.
Totally.
I'm to this day trying to navigate relationships by guessing what the people I'm talking to want me to do or say and then do it.
Yeah.
So I was going to keep it, but it seemed like you fellas were negative on the game, so I switched.
Do anything that makes you happy.
There's still time to
too late.
undo the bomb, Mike.
No, it's
There's
not.
still time to pull it from the Covenant
He's
ship.
at the... Wait, that's the other thing, right? Is that the reveal that the remote detonation sequence is aboard the ship that he's on at Earth?
Is that in the first,
Sometimes
after the
story's
first level,
confusing. No. At the end, they go, well, the cliffhanger is that the Covenant Truth's Armada is at Earth. He took the Forerunner ship and went to Earth.
Right.
And then they go, well, the double whammy ticking clock is that now that you aborted this Halo sequence, the Halos have gone into a mode where anyone can trigger them remotely at any time, so shit is even more dangerous. And then it cuts to and he goes, well, where is that trigger? And then it cuts to a shot of the ship.
Yeah.
And I was assuming that means that trigger's on that ship?
No, I think it's that it's on Earth. Like, there's a thing on Earth. Yeah.
That's why they're attacking Earth. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're the Reclaimers, because we're the special boy race.
Correct.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
For
Chosen
my
people.
final word, I am going to delete Halo 2. No, I'll tell you why. Honestly, those of you who are immediately
I'll tell you
incensed,
why. No reason.
yeah, and then just like, I'll tell you why, my show, and then the show just ends.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't hold up that well. I don't think. It doesn't. No, I was like, man, this isn't as good as Half-Life, or Halo 1, or Halo 3. Like, I think
Yet good enough to re-inspire my love of the entire genre.
it's not a
This
bad
is a confusing game.
It's a really good game, but like one of the greatest all time, like one of the 100 best games ever made. I'd say no, it is not.
Maybe not that, but
Yeah. Well, a lot of people would say that it is. I think partly because they are remembering
I
their.
think it's remembered as.
Yeah.
But I think they're giving it credit. Halo 1 and 2 are sort of getting lumped together as an experience in that statement.
I think that's true. I think Halo deserves to be remembered forever. I don't think Halo 2 does. So that's how I vote.
Great. So when we end the episode, you will awake from your trance and you will not remember Halo 2.
Sorry.
And snap. Yeah. Man, I would love the power to end a podcast by removing. No, that movie sucks. Okay, everyone listening, forget that movie. It's gone. I remove it from you.
That'd be great.
You did not see War of the Worlds.
You'd be our grave mind.
All right. Yeah, I love that Oogie Boogie Grave Mine. That the Master Chief Collection is that's another thing we didn't get into because it's not the point of the episode. But my final thought is just hat tip, and it's a very necessary job to be like a video game historian and preservationist now, like Blue Point. Mm-hmm. Like hats off to the companies that are just like, let's make Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Let's make Master Chief Collection. Make it good. Give it that thing where you can switch between the old and new graphics whenever you want. Love it.
That's still one of the best collections in video gaming. Master Chief Collection.
Such good
awesome.
curation. Yeah.
So good. If you don't have that and you have an Xbox, I don't know what you're playing on that Xbox. Get that game.
And my final thought is go watch War of the Worlds featuring Ice Cube and Amazon.com.
We're covering that next. So fun. All right. Well, Sean, thank you so much for joining us.
Always nice to be here.
You are such a phenomenal guest because your podcasting skills are so developed. How did you develop your own podcasting skills?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I have a podcast called the Dog Zone 9000, which is a representation of our wonderful comedy website, 1-900hotdog.com, which is the last place people write the jokes. I was the first one to do it.
I write there occasionally.
And I will be there when it all dies. And yes, featuring hilarious columnist Michael Swaim.
Sometimes.
We got you monthly.
I'm a Merritt K man myself. But.
Work complete.